皆様こんばんは。今週も始まりました Cardano Radio ね。本当になんかあっという間に1週間が過ぎていきますがね、ビルダーズフェストも終わり、そしていろいろね、体の界隈でもいろんな動きが出てきております。ガバナンスの話でもね、もう X 上ではいろいろあって、で昨日かな、チャールズがコインデスクのね、ファミリーみんなでミーティングしているのが上がっておりましたけども、まあはい、私は日々淡々とビルドを続けております。さあ、そしてビルダーズフェストの前にね、マティアスに出てもらったんですけど、ちょっと時間が合わなかったので、分けて撮って、なんかリアルタイムに、これ本当に本番の少し前に撮ってるんですけどね、今日また来てもらってるんでね、とりあえず呼んでみたいと思います。Thanks for coming back on the show.
Hola, sorry, I was muted.
It's okay.
Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, I always do the same thing. I try to bring the guest on, and I have myself on mute, so it's not new. Don't worry.
All good. Thanks.
Yeah. So basically, how was the Builders Fest? Maybe a wrap-up report from there.
Well, that was great. I mean, it's always a bit tricky for me because we started that with Arno 2-3 years ago now. I can't remember. 3 years ago. So every time there is like a huge expectations in a sense, right? Okay, how people are gonna do a great Builder Fest, and I'm also never really afraid, right? Because when I see who is organizing it, I'm always like, okay, that has to be great. And I have to say, like the CX5 team on this one, they did a very good job. I don't know how many they were at the organization level. Because it felt like they were like 20 plus organizing the whole thing, and that's crazy. Yeah. But apart from like this event in particular, which was place was great, all the organization went well. I think they managed to preserve the open space on the second day in a very nice way, and we had kind of a lot of time also to meet, discuss with people and so on. But it's also like the vibes you get at the Builder Fest. Like, it's almost like everyone puts their conflict or their, problems at the door, right? And then you just get to walk in and talk with people and talk about stuff that you don't talk about usually. Like, hey, let's just have a roundtable on new PLC and discuss what's the best way to have new modules across your PLCs. Like, okay, let's do that. And you have another table there that's discussing, BLS and how to do a VRF, implement the VRF on the Cardano blockchain using BLS pairing. And like, okay, why not? and it's really like this kind of conversation that's cool. I had a few people coming to me that were like, oh, I thought you were mad at me. No, like why would I be mad? And then you realize that just talking it through face to face, you just get a completely different impression than what you would get online. And that's why those events are important, right? Getting people together, getting to realize that, well, we're not so different, and maybe sometimes I don't know, companies fight over each other on the internet, but that doesn't mean people hate each other inside. And I think that's the best part of the Builder Fest, is just reconnecting to all that and realizing that people you think were, mad at you are actually just developing just like you and happy to discuss things with you. So that's really what I enjoyed. And it's like refreshing at the same time. Like when you get out of the Builder Fest, you're like, I want to build stuff. I'm so hyped, excited. Like everyone's been talking about those crazy ideas they had. Some have already like demos. Some just have barely started on something. But you're like, okay, I need to do more stuff. I need to do things, and it's just this atmosphere. Like sometimes you feel a bit down in our ecosystem, especially in bear market and so on. And doing an event like that, you just realize why you came to begin with, and like, oh, okay, there's so much being built, there is so much yet to be built. Let's go back to it. So in a wrap up, that's really that. The Builder Fest is kind of our little moment where we just remotivate the troops and get to talk to people we don't talk to usually.
I see. So yeah, if I was able to go, I would really wanted to, go see Chris and Santi as well and have a good time. And they had a stage with guitars and stuff, so I really wanted to play there and sing as well. Yeah, that looked
that was so funny. Like Santi was teasing us for a whole day, telling us that tonight is gonna be the cringe moment and so on. I was like, what are you talking about? And eventually we realized he was just gonna sing, and it was not cringe at all. It was just amazing. And then you had like everyone kind of came on stage. I mean, not everyone, people that knew how to play instrument and sing. that was really cool.
Yeah, well, that sounds like a great wrap up. And also right after when the Builders Fest finished, on X, you actually tagged me and mentioned about having the Builders Fest in Japan. And I thought that was a great idea, but how did you come up on that idea?
That's a bit random, to be frank. As typically what we've done on the other Builder Fest is at the end we try to we all get together and we try to decide on where's the next one happening. And it's a kind of someone had to take the torch, right, and say, well, okay, I'm organizing the next one. And I think this time that didn't really happen. So everyone was like, okay, yes, we need to do the next one. There was no strong commitment from anyone. And as we started discussing a bit with people, I was like, okay, maybe it would be good to do it in Japan.
Yeah.
And everyone seemed to agree, like, oh yeah, Japan would be great. Oh yeah, Japan, let's do Japan. But then, we need someone to organize it in Japan because, like, I can't. and many people that were there couldn't either because, as European or Americans or Latin American, it's tricky. So that's why I kind of tagged you and basically all the other Japanese members I knew in the community, and I've met, like, hey guys, do you want to organize a Builder Fest? Because sounds like Japan might be a good place.
Yeah, I think you were right on the spot, and that sounded great because unfortunately the Catalyst the Fun 15 round didn't work out, but not a Builders Fest, but I was trying to organize an event called Layer Zero. It's called, it's same as my node's name. It's called Tsunagi. Tsunagi means, connecting people together at a layered level, area. So bringing people together and building stuff together. And I was thinking about, NFTs, CNFTs and stuff like that. So I kind of had that kind of idea. So, it's kind of related, building something. So I would love to take part, in taking a part of the Builders Fest. So, if things move forward, please let me know, and I would do everything to help out.
Well, I mean, it's mostly depending on you, I think, because if things move forward, that means someone is moving them forward from the Japanese community. And so, I mean, we can definitely chat more on the side on that and see how we can make that happen.
Okay, sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, that's something like it's gonna be also challenging, I think. I was discussing with Chris on that, and was like, well, a lot of the Japanese community does not necessarily speak English too much, right? And we thought, we are also in an era where AI is kind of very powerful. So what about we do, like, even the speaks and conference, and we just live translate them on screen using AI and kind of try to adjust the conference so that we can get those two worlds to meet. But sometimes I feel like there is like a Japanese community that does not mix too much with the Occidental or European community and US because English and language barrier. And the few times I've been to Japan, I felt that a bit even more, because you realize that there are actually a lot of people doing Cardano there, but they are just not on the same networks, not on the same social medias and so on.
True.
And I think Builder Fest in particular is a moment where we know that the things that, there is one common thing that unites us, which is the tech side of things. And we want to be discussing, building and the details of Cardano. So I think that's one moment where we can just abstract a bit the language barrier and make that effort.
Yeah.
So it could work, but it's definitely going to be one of the most challenging Builder Fest, I think.
Definitely. Well, you got a perfect translator right in front of you, so I'll be running around like a headless chicken, but maybe I can manage some part of the work that's going to go in. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, that's a good wrap, and I hope the Builders Fest could happen in Japan, and we'll definitely talk about it more in details off air when we have time. And anything else that you have in mind? I don't know about CF or what's happening to Cardano, right? The bear market is bear market. We know about that, so there's not much to talk about it there, but a lot of new things falling into Cardano, and midnight went mainnet and everything. And you got anything on there, or like your vision, your ideas?
Nope. To be honest, I'm not super interested about midnight, and I'd rather not talk about it.
No, okay. Well, that was like on the spot question. So anything is alright.
Yeah. I get it. But yeah, there was a few people at the Builder Fest kind of discussing that as well. So that's interesting to listen, and people have questions, I think. So, but I would not be the best one to answer those questions.
Yeah.
So, no, I mean, what else? I don't know. A lot of stuff's happening. It's kind of interesting, those bear market times, always, because you kind of see who is sticking around and who is not. And it's also, it shows you how difficult it actually is to build a business on blockchain still today. And my conclusion from kind of the past experience, the past years, plus also everything I've been sensing at the Builder Fest, is that we need to build bridges. And we need to build bridges with existing communities that are bigger than us, which basically mean Bitcoin and Ethereum, right?
Yeah.
And on the Bitcoin front, there is so much happening. Like, I think we have 4 different types of bridges now, or 4 different ways of connecting to Bitcoin, which are not really overlapping, which is the best part. Like, everyone's building something different. Like, we have the guy from Lantern and Free Tokens that are building Bifrost, and that's just like connecting a two-way bridge between Bitcoin and Cardano, but meant to move massive amount of money at once, not to be doing like micro transfer and things like that, because settlement time is long, and they have like very strong guarantee that involve all SPOs. So it's like, okay, that's one thing. And then you look aside, and you have also the guy from Free Token doing like atomic swaps on Bitcoin. That's okay, that's another stuff. We've got IO building, what's it called again? Cardaminal. And on other Bitcoin bridging, which is interesting. So I'm kind of, they announced a few things months ago, and I'm still waiting on like, okay, what's the next steps now? We also, with my colleague Dominic Walj, as he's known, we've also showcased our like Bitcoin Lightning Bridge on Cardano at the Builder Fest. So like Dominic was selling stickers to people where they would just buy them in ADA, but paying through the Lightning Network. So we could like show people how you can get instant settlement on Cardano too, in a sense. And that got a few people interested, and it's like, okay, now we are connecting, to Bitcoin through so many layers. So I think 2026 is going to be the year of Cardano bridging to Bitcoin and possibly also other ecosystem, and that is possibly how we win in the long run.
Yeah,
because if we just stay on our small islands and we just stay within ourselves, it's just getting it's not growing. And looking at the whole crypto ecosystem, and kind of you have various measures of that, but I don't think the crypto ecosystem is growing that much. Like, it has grown during the first years when this whole thing started, but for a few years now, it seems like we've kind of reached a cap of the people that were basically interested in crypto. And that means now we need to onboard bigger businesses. We need to do way more effort to get new users in. But for now, I think it's still easier to simply try to get the users that are already there. But from other ecosystem, and shows them that, hey, you have BTC, you can actually use that on Cardano, and maybe it's slightly more convenient to do it here because we have slightly better smart contracts, so you can maybe get better guarantees. And then maybe there is something that exists on the other side but not on one side, and you can kind of cross blockchains in a sense that way. So yeah, there is a lot to do there, and I think that's the right push that we have to take on Cardano. It's like connecting ourselves to the others and trying to stop a bit with this, we are Cardano on our solo island and we don't play well with the other ecosystem.
And I think, for the year 2026, I mean, right after or right when we went into the Corona period, with COVID and everything, everything stopped. But that's really when, Zoom meetings and everything, all the tech started moving really fast forward. And I'm thinking end of 2025 and early 2026, the AIs, Cloud Code and, Codex and everything, Gemini, and, they released another one, Gemini yesterday, I think, Gemini 4, was it? But, the competition is so real. And I think, not the code vibing part, but the real engineers who really knows the code deep down the inside, will probably accelerate a lot faster and build, amazing stuff a lot faster, I think. What do you think? Am I on the right track?
Yeah. I don't think AI is competition. It's just a tool, right? It's a better tool to write code, which means that we can focus on other stuff. And that mostly means for us as engineers, focusing now on the architectural level, the requirements, and also the conformance part of it. Does these things does what it should be doing? And that's great, because often enough, when you're just busy head down during development, you kind of skip over some of those things. And it's I've developed my prototype, but I'm not fully sure if it's actually doing what it should be doing, because I hadn't time to test it correctly. And AI can write tests too, but you kind of have to guide it on what you are going to test.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing for development. You can just tell an agent, okay, please develop these things. And you're pretty much sure that it's going to build something that's plausible, but that's not exactly what you want it to build, because you haven't specified it correctly. And the whole challenge is that it's you're not writing code anymore, but you're still at the driver's seat. You still have to decide what to build. And the more precise you can be on that, the better is going to be the result. So we still have quite a hole, and it's not like us versus the AI. It's just, AI is just a better way to write code now, because you can go faster. You can sometimes even write better code than you would have written yourself, because AI knows the syntax, knows all the different subtleties of the language better than you. So you can even learn something, and you can even build stuff with language you don't know.
True.
Because all programming languages are basically the same at some point. As soon as you've been through 3-4 different programming languages from different paradigms, you always find the same things everywhere. And so everything is just syntax now. And sometimes there is a bit of semantic attached to different parts of the language, and it helps to understand those. But what I mean is that it's mostly common to all languages. So sometimes you don't know exactly what's the right syntax in that language for this particular bit, but you know how to express the concept, right? Which means that now you can completely develop something possibly in a language you don't really know, just because you can understand the concept, you can understand the semantic of what's happening based on your past experience with previous languages. So the language now is no longer a barrier on what you can build with. So you can just pick the right language really for the right problem, instead of picking your favorite language because that's the one you're comfortable with. And I think that's great. That's a really great power we have. And sometimes makes me wonder actually how new people are going to do it. Because our generation, we've got 10, 15 years of development, sometimes 20, right?
Yeah.
Or more. And it's we know how to write code. We've been writing it for years. So we can see the value we get out of AI, right? And that's why for, I think, our generation is kind of mind-blowing, because I've been doing this for, large part of my life, and now there is this tool that does it better than me. Okay, well, let's not just, sit down and cry, and actually just use that because it's great. But for someone completely new that's never learned how to program, that's never learned how to, make mistakes, I sometimes wonder how they're gonna learn. And maybe that will just naturally happen, because people are just going to, in the same way that we were not writing assembly by hands in our generation, that this still did not prevent us to learn, computers and programming. Maybe, the next generation that starts with AI and go all the way with AI, they will also still manage to learn programming concepts just fine. But it's kind of weird because our experience is attached to the discovery of programming through making mistakes, for writing shitty code, and so on. So yeah, just makes me wonder. And I'm curious, like I would like to fast track in like 10, 15 years from now and get someone that started programming with AI and have their experience. It's like kind of, okay, how did you learn and what was the experience? And is there anything you find more difficult? Or yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and talking about that part of AI, I totally agree. And sometimes if you have zero knowledge, no knowledge, then you would not know what the mistake is, right? So you just keep on building in the wrong direction. So you really, I think you still need to have like a basic understanding, but still, even if you start from AI, then once you start going, and if it doesn't move forward, then you'll try to find different ways and you'll start asking questions to the AI. So that's kind of a way of a communication. So I think that's how the new generation could build a knowledge base from there. I think that's kind of my perspective there.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. Like with AI, you've also got like a super teacher that can go on any topic for you, that can deep dive on any concept. So there is also this power. Like if you use it well, possibly you can just even learn maybe faster and way better than what we learned at the end. So yeah, but there is a lot of existential questioning with that, right? And I've been talking a bit to some other people that I thought had their job impacted by AI, like people doing photography, for example. Nowadays you can generate photos out of everywhere. So it's like, okay, do you feel threatened in your job by that? And they were like, well, no, because people still like the human touch of photos. So in the end, AI is just taking all the shitty missions you sometimes get asked, and you can focus on the nicer stuff as a photographer. I'm like, oh, okay. Maybe that's a bit the same for software dev in the end. Like, oh, I need to build a website again, and I can just ask Claude to do it because it's gonna just take 5 minutes to generate the website, and I know it's just a static website. There is no big deal on it. So why should I spend a week on that? And yeah, but it's still, for us, like today we still have a role to play, right? We're still saying, okay, we are still in the driver's seat. We're still useful as an engineer. In a year, maybe in a year, AI can also make proper decisions about architecture and is better than us at understanding user requirements because they don't have human bias, maybe. And yeah, I think that questions a lot. And I wouldn't like to be learning programming now, like in school, because the existential threat on your future is just so big. Like, okay, maybe I'm learning something that's going to be completely obsolete in a year. And yeah, that's. I don't think there is any profession at this point that is as much impacted as AI, and it's probably because the people that are developing it are also developers, which means that they are also building it for themselves first.
True.
And we are the first users of it at this point. And I think like it was Anthropic recently that released some diagrams showing like what's the composition of their user base, and I think 60% was the software engineers using AI. And then you could see the other jobs, but like the second one on the list was even maybe 10%, not even. So by far, software engineers are the primary consumers of AI at this point, at least of cloud.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think once AI can start cooking dinner for you, then I would really rethink about it. But at the moment, they can't cook for me, so.
Well, I mean, the robotic is also advancing quite a lot. And the coupling of the two, I think, is only a matter of a few months, if not like maybe years. But you could see now robots being quite good at, human movement, you would say. Like they jump, they get super, they get well balanced and so on. Now you put an LLM on that, well, you basically have, iRobot, the movie, right? You've got your personal assistant that can think with quotes and that can pretty much be as mobile as you, if not better, because they don't get tired, right? So I think there is only one step from that to them cooking dinner for you.
Yeah, but one part that, I really think that AI will never manage is, for example, tasting something and smelling something, maybe seeing, they can do it already because you put in a like a picture or photo and they can really see. But tasting something and smelling something, I think that's going to be a very, very hard hurdle to overcome for AIs, I think.
You think? Nah, they are just sensors. You just need the right sensors for that, and we are just a whole bunch of sensors and flesh around. Yeah. And I think if you got the right thing, they might even smell things you can't even smell.
True. Yeah.
So no, I wouldn't be so sure of that. I think the only thing that always remain in this discussion is like, what is actually the human bits, right? What makes you human? And people are like, oh, that's your soul, right? You have something inside you, and now you got very religious every time, and honestly, like it's just a question, and I also don't think it's that important in a sense. Or at least that's not really the problem at this point. But I think at some point we'll reach a level where AI/robots can pretty much do as much as we can do. And if you reach a point where it's undistinguishable from a human, and you really tell if it's not a human, and now we reach kind of Blade Runner level, right, where you have robots living amongst humans and you can't really tell them apart, to the point where even robots think they are humans, right? Sorry, I just killed the plot of Blade Runner, but it's kind of that, right? At some point, if it what's the saying? Like, it quacks like a dog, it walks like a dog, and it looks like a dog. It might just be a dog, right?
Yeah. True. Well, that's gonna be, we'll find out very soon. Maybe in a few years, 5 years.
Yeah, I think I have now way more. Not hope. How do you put that? I think it's much more realistic to imagine a world with like AI speaking robots than to imagine us on Mars, for example. I think that it seems way more at reach at this point. Although maybe it's also just very far from it, because LLM, in a sense, they are very good at producing text. But they are not so good at making decisions, so to speak. And if you want to embed something like that in a robot and make it a completely autonomous thing, you're gonna need decisions making. Yeah. And that's something where I still find all the recent LLM models and all the recent AI I've seen that not super great at. They are good at making decisions in a very constrained domain, where you can kind of build agents that are tailored to that particular domain. But in a complete open world, I still think there is a fair amount of work to do there. But it doesn't look like it's completely out of reach. So I guess that's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, I hear you completely. Well, okay, I think that's a wrap for this week. Thanks for joining in. Let me just do a quick Japanese before I let you go. はい、皆さん、今週は AI の話とね、ビルダーズフェスタの話をいっぱいしましたけども、またね、来週、もう1周年、本当に、もうなんだろう、これ20ドルじゃなくて、また来週は来週取れるのでね、最新情報をゲットできればなと思いますので、皆さんお聞きくださってありがとうございました。YouTube でもアーカイブ上がってますのでね、ぜひ聞いてください。ではまた来週お会いしましょう。Alright, my thingamabob in Japanese was done. Okay, thank you very much for popping in again this week, and I'll be looking forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Okay, bye.
Smart contracts later, serving the need. Millions of wallets, adoption and in play. Cardano grows stronger with each passing day. Governance voting, treasury flows. Chain hard fork, the community knows. DeFi's alive, liquidity streams. Cardano's building real world dreams. ADA, we rise on your wings. From blockchain roots to real world things. DeFi, governance, midnight align. Cardano's vision, the future defined. DJ for stability, Indigo's right. USDA coming just decentralized. Decks are trading, pools stay deep, stake Delegate rewards to keep midnight with us, protecting the right. Privacy balanced with laws in sight. Identity verified, freedom intact. Zero knowledge whispers guard every act. From Voltaire's voice to Treasury's